Y'all, I can't get away. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Ain't happening for me. Y'all, now we have the interview of Robert Tellis in jail after his conviction. Y'all, I can't get away. Can't get away. I took the test. I got a B. I'm disappointed. I got a B. I wasn't sure. It's always weird on the very first test because you never know how the professor is going to test. Now I know. Now I know. I now know how he's going to test. And that, well, that's not what I'm wanting. So now that I know his methods and the way he tests, I hope to do better. I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope. So we're back. I'm waiting for some to hop on because, or Ronnie, should I wait or should we just go for it? And by the way, there is a filing in court with Sarah Boone, official with the attorney notification. So it is done. It's official. It has been filed. Hey, sneaky side. Hey, guess what? Breaking news. Robert Tellis, telephone call from jail. Yeah, I'll wait a few. I took my test, my quiz, got a B, not happy. Um, it's always unusual. You don't always know how professors test, and I haven't taken a test or quiz in 6 years. So, it's a different process that I'm used to. All my tests were in sign language, not reading. So, we'll see. Since it, what? Lay down. You make me nervous just standing there. Good girl. Hey, everybody. Yeah. So I think I did good. Okay. So, my paper's submitted. Won't know the grade on that. I hate these little things. I won't know the grade on that for a little while. I gave credit to that gentleman. And if you didn't notice, I'm using that now. I almost thought about saying Granny Gotti instead of Grandma Gotti. Granny Gotti. What do you think, Grandma or Granny? Oh, Canton police reports for Birchmore. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and go live, Grandma. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and go live because we've got a bunch of Birchmore stuff we need to talk about. Yep, we got a lot we got to talk about. I know, right, Grandma? Grandma Gotti. Yeah, I agree. I'm just trying to play on words here. So we're going to go ahead and get going on this because my son ordered me a nice lunch, and it's 3:30 here. Um, I'm kind of worried. My daughter's trying to come home, and all of a sudden the wind and a storm is hitting. So she's pulled over in a safe place. I know, and Court TV, I gave you credit in my description. I hope you don't mind. I gave you credit in the description. Always will if I use any of your interviews. Is that okay? I hope I'm free to use it. We welcome you, Court TV. Welcome, welcome. Boy, we've had a lot of interesting stuff breaking today, especially with the um, trial for Miss Boone. Yep, Miss Boone. Definitely got a got a hop on that document real quick. And I called it. I told y'all about a week or two ago when we saw the reports from jail that she was meeting with an attorney. Ah, I know. And it is not alleged. The paperwork has been filed. Um, it is, let me go up to here. I have it. I can pull it. Entry of appearance has been made. Let me share this screen. Cut it over. It has been made. I'm not going to make it beautiful, but there it is. It is short. Yes, we adore you, Court TV. So, notice of appearance. James Owens entered his appearance as counsel on behalf of the defendant, Sarah Boone. I near, I now certified that I electronically filed the proceeding with the clerk of courts by using the e-portal system, which I understand I will send an email to. Okay, so here it is. It's official. Hey, Jedi Jess, there it is. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. So, Court TV, we thank you for the interview. We're going to go ahead and get going. This, I know. I'm like, we looked up the guy this morning. He's a seasoned attorney. So, why? I want to know who's paying for it, Court TV. I'd love for you to get an interview. Who is paying for it? And Court TV, if you ever want an interpreter, we need to talk because there's some things that just need to go out to the deaf community. But I can't believe it either that he answered. I guess he's kind of trying to boost his law firm. I don't know. The question is going to be how long will she have him? And who's paying for it? How did she acquire this attorney? And is he going to sit there and demand that the courts pay him? He's already saying the courts need to pay for the expert witness because she's indigent. If she's indigent, how did she pay for him? The only thing I can think of is that he's pro bono. Everybody, hello, hello, hello. Court TV, thank you so much for this feed. This is fabulous, and I appreciate you allowing creators like me to use it. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to share screen and we're going to get going. Stage. Da, 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 da. Court TV, we love you. Thank you so very much for this. And here we
The
go.
guilty verdict this week and his sentence. Remember, a jury found the 47-year-old former Las Vegas politician guilty for the stabbing death of investigative reporter Jeff Gehrman. Tellis took the stand. He claimed that this was some massive conspiracy. The jury obviously didn't buy it. They did take a long time in deliberations, though, and people were scratching their heads, what's going on? This was some massive
I don't know what happened right now. Not now, Court TV. I'll renew in a minute, but
Former Las Vegas politician guilty for the stabbing death of investigative reporter Jeff Gehrman, Tellis took the stand. He claimed that this was some massive conspiracy. The jury obviously didn't buy it. They did take a long time in deliberations, though, and people were scratching their heads, what's going on? That closing argument from the defense, all that Matt is going to bring up with Robert Tellis. So without any further ado, let's head to the jailhouse and the interview. This is our Matt Johnson talking to convicted killer Robert Tellis.
For meeting with us. I know that we have limited time, so I wanted to start with this. You were convicted of first-degree murder 2 days ago. Do you have a message for Jeff Gehrman's family?
Yes, sir. Again, I am very sorry for their loss.
No, you're not.
It's tragic. He was clearly a good man who made a difference in the community and a difference in his family, but they certainly have my condolences, but I'm not guilty. I am innocent of his murder.
A jury of 12. You're a former attorney. You helped select this jury. You say that they got it wrong?
Disappointed much?
I do. Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Obviously, there was a lot of evidence in, I think, every different direction. I think one of the important things that the jury did not focus on was the fact that, as was heard earlier during the trial, that at 8:50 a.m. I was at home texting with one of my kids. I did not leave home. And at 9:10, this SUV that's very similar to my SUV pulls into my neighborhood while I'm still at home, then drives out 2 minutes later, follows the path to Mr. Gehrman's home, murders Mr. Gehrman, and makes its way back toward my home.
Well, let's talk about that because prosecutors pointed to the text message that was on your wife's watch and not your cell phone. She was trying to get a hold of you. So where were you?
Again, as I testified, I had taken a walk. And when I came back home, I just walked in the door. I yelled up that I'm home, and that was it. I mentioned, too, that if I hadn't, then certainly she would have texted and called further. Right? So the fact that there was just the one call and text within a couple minutes of each other shows that, again, there was no concern that I was not yet home or anything like that.
Why frame you? Because you believe that you're being framed, right? Being framed by who and why? Why not just kill you?
Right, and then again, that was something that I addressed on the stand as well. So I believe that Compass Realty, I would want to do my investigation of this, but I was able to prove it. But I believe Compass Realty framed me to stop me from investigating them. And so when you think about this question about, well, why not kill you instead? Again, killing me wouldn't have stopped the investigations into them, and maybe even bolstered those investigations, when people try to figure out why I was killed, or perhaps the investigations were picked up in my memory and worked on harder. But again, like I said, because now that Mr. Gehrman's been murdered and I was framed for it, Compass Realty gets away with, not having to answer to any of the criminal conduct that they've engaged in. And also the real estate division complaint that I had filed against them, that got dropped after I got put in jail. It certainly is serendipity for them if, as a result of my supposedly killing Mr. Gehrman, that they get to walk away without any repercussions for their criminal conduct.
I heard you take the stand, and I was there in court each and every day. You were there on the stand for a duration over 3 days, and you mentioned that on the stand. Why did you want to take the stand? If you did it again, over again, would you? Because the jury didn't seem to believe what you had to say in your narrative.
Yeah, I would do it again. I don't know that it's necessarily my testimony had a negative impact. I think perhaps had we highlighted again a little harder the inconsistencies with the evidence, that perhaps they would have seen the truth. I don't know that my testimony had a negative impact. In fact, I think it, at the very least, the public got to hear my story, and while they're not jurors, they can decide whether or not this is all true, but I'm innocent, and so I guess that's bottom line for me.
So who killed Jeff Gehrman then?
Like I said, I believe it is someone who was hired by Compass Realty.
And what steps are you going to do moving forward if you say that you're an innocent man behind bars, you're yet to be sentenced, you're yet to be moved to prison? What's next for you then?
So right now I'm working on my appeals. I do believe that I will get out early on appeal. So I'm working on that right now. As far as any investigations that I'd hope to complete, unfortunately, I won't be able to do them from here. If there's enough time when I get out, such that all the evidence hasn't, basically aged, I guess, I don't know if it's aged out, but if there's still yet evidence remaining by the time I get out, then great. Then I'll continue to pursue those investigations when I get out.
When do you think that you're going to be getting out? When do you think you're going to be getting out? You've been convicted of first-degree murder. You're going to be sentenced, and the possibility is after serving 20 years parole, but you're unlikely to get parole unless you take responsibility for the actions that you've been convicted of.
So, in fact, it's going to be longer than 20 years. There are enhancements, so I'll be looking at probably 28 years. But again, it is my belief that, and I'm going to continue working on this, that I'll be able to get back to my family sooner through appeals. That's my main concern is getting back home to my family.
Let's talk about that, because in the mitigation, you had 3 witnesses that were on the stand in your defense. It was your wife, your ex-wife, and your mom. And you broke down in tears when your mom was on the stand, pleading on your behalf for parole. And they were all characterizing you as a family man, but I hadn't seen your family in court supporting you during the trial.
I didn't want them there. And because of all the media, you got to understand that my family, they love me. I talk to them all the time. As you heard, I talk to my kids all the time. I especially did not want them during the proceedings. I didn't want them to suffer from all of this. That's been my main concern all along. So, yeah, they didn't show up because I asked them not to. I wanted to protect them from this situation.
Why did you cry when your mom was testifying on your behalf? And, according to our viewers and people that have watched your trial, they didn't see much emotion from you whenever there were pictures of Mr. Gehrman or when his family was on the stand. Why is that?
I don't know that, I certainly felt for them. I don't know if my face, demonstrated or not, but I definitely felt for the family during their testimony. And I certainly, this has certainly been frustrating for me, but you got to understand that, I had to try to just prove my innocence, to show the jury that, again, I am a family man. I am somebody who could not possibly have committed this murder. So that was my main goal during the trial, was to just to convey that and to show them the evidence, that I had seen that shows that this is, that I did not commit this murder. So, I'm sorry if it came off as though I didn't have emotion, but I thought I certainly conveyed it,
And on that same regard, viewers online, people love to weigh in on what they're watching at specific times, but a lot of people didn't believe that there was emotion on the stand when you appeared to be crying. Were you crying, and why?
And that wasn't for show. That just was not for show. This is not something that I planned. Basically, basically, when I was talking about the fact that, I was basically tortured, mentally, during this period where they detained me during the search. And I was already just about broken because they were talking about my family and what this was going to do to my family. And they'd already put me in this paper suit and this freezing environment. And by the time I walked into my house, it was a tornado. They trashed my children's rooms. They trashed my entire house. And my wife was sitting on the floor crying. And so I cried on the stand. And it wasn't for show. It wasn't me trying to gain any sympathy. I cried. And there were tears. My face was wet. But
do we have to hear about this crap again?
It wasn't for public consumption. It wasn't for the jury's sake. That's just something that came out. So if it looked unbelievable, then so be it. Because it wasn't meant to be an act. It wasn't meant to be something to sway anybody.
And speaking of that jury, they were out for roughly 12 hours over 3 days, and they asked to see certain videos. One of the videos was what your defense team had pointed out, with what they say was hair on the driver of the suspect in a vehicle. And then the second was a comparison side by side of you walking with the AP article of you in your office from that Gehrman interview, and also video of the suspect. And a lot of people say that it's the same walk, that you have the same walk as the suspect. You say that it's not? Do you see the similarities?
I don't agree, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. But no, I don't agree.
All right, we need a break. We'll get you back and pick up Matt Johnson's interview with Robert Tellis. He's going to ask, why did you choose to do this kind of crime?
Okay.
That man is still so broken up about his house being tossed and still being cleaner than mine. just sorry, that's still what he's like.
He is
getting irritated about.
He has OCD. His house was not messy before, but I've lived through that and I know what it's like. However, only reason why I cleaned that house all night long was to get it back in order so the children didn't see it. But it was the least of my worries. And I wasn't crying over my house. Now, if they break anything, they have to replace it.
Exactly. And you know what? In terms of a tossed house, that's the most cleanly tossed house I've ever seen.
Welcome, Denny Down. I'm really bad at remembering names unless I see you on a very regular basis. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. If not, welcome back. Am I loud?
No, it's okay. Sorry. My headphones just turned off.
Well, welcome. If you feel inclined, please leave your DNA. And for those of you who don't know, tomorrow is a members only live. And I normally open it up only for judge and supreme judge. We're opening it up for all levels tomorrow. So we start off at 99 cents. Please go join so you can have fun with us. Some of us are playing the Bean Boozled game. Got to figure out how I'm going to work that.
You come up with an idea.
Well,
yes,
I'm sorry to be eating with y'all, but it's 4:00 here and I haven't had lunch. I've been doing 3 lives today. This is the third, and a paper and a test. So it's been busy. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's get back to it.
Sorry, I was just irritated. No emotion for Jeff Gerben. Just still upset about the tossed house.
That
the most cleanly tossed house I've seen.
Fake it, dude. If you don't got it, fake it. But that's horrible. Yeah, I am sympathetic. I feel bad for him. But my house, man, my house. I didn't mean for both of
Let's
you.
pick up our interview. Matt Johnson, Robert, tell us right where we left off.
And they were asking for those pieces of evidence.
I don't know. I was still hopeful, that they would see my innocence, but that was about it.
When the jury came back and we were all waiting, and then they asked you to stand at that defense table and they read the verdict, what went through your mind then?
Unfortunately, they got it wrong, and that it's time to continue on with my work and try to get home.
I know that you say that you believe that they got it wrong. Again, I want to circle back to how are you going to continue your investigation and to prove your innocence, since you really believe that, while behind bars, while in prison?
I think there are potentially a couple different ways, and we'll see whether or not they pan out. Currently, there's a lawsuit that between me and some of the folks in the office where I could potentially get some of the discovery that would connect some of the players, and then there's a lawsuit that I've filed against certain officers that may net some of the information that I need. But we'll see about that particular lawsuit. I know they're going to try to dismiss it now with a conviction, but that again could take years by the time we get to the point where I can get anything to demonstrate more of what is going on here.
You were convicted less than 48 hours ago. Why is it important for you to speak out now? You have not been sentenced yet. And if you're going to be asking for an appeal, anything you say right now can be used against you. You know that.
All right. Well, and then again, obviously I'm here because, folks like yourself wanted to speak to me. And certainly, like I said, I'm innocent. And, if my standing up and continuing to declare my innocence is going to hurt my chances for an appeal, then so be it. But I should certainly hope not. I should hope that my declaring my innocence should not be, a reason for any judge to be punitive. Any judge to decide that they're going to put me away for longer, or they're going to deny my appeal. So we'll certainly see whether there is any kind of repercussion for me continuing to say that I'm innocent. And if it is, it's wrong. But we'll see.
How did the DNA get under the victim's fingernails, and that was your DNA?
That, again, I don't know, sir. Because then, like I said, I don't know that it was ever under his fingernails. I did not kill Mr. German. I know that's what, they say that my DNA was under his nails, but I don't know how that may have occurred.
Why were the shoes cut up underneath your couch?
I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. If supposedly I was the person who committed this crime, why not just throw those things away? It makes no sense to cut up shoes.
And the same would be, why cut up a hat? And why get rid of other items? According to prosecutors and according to your conviction, this jury believes you killed Mr. Gehrman, you came home, you cut up the shoes, you cut up the hat, but then you got rid of other items, including the orange shirt, the pants, and the murder weapon. How did those items still get in your home if they're trying to frame you? Where is the murder weapon?
And again, so that just what you're saying makes no sense, right? I mean, if I were the killer and I got rid of some of the items, why wouldn't I get rid of all of the items at once? It just makes no sense. And then on top of that, the alleged hiding places for these items, one was under my couch, and then another was an open toolbox. Again, it just doesn't make any sense.
If you believe that the jury got it wrong and you are still innocent, what is your message?
Not enough decency to realize you shouldn't have done it.
Only thing that doesn't make any sense here is you. If you look at just the evidence, it's very clear. It makes sense. And
pretty much
you know what?
Every sorry, what was that, Vita?
No, go ahead.
I was just about to say, every still shot that you capture of this man, like any time you freeze him in video, It's just like never really a flattering shot.
I could care less if he looks good. I'd rather have the bad than the good.
Oh no, I'm sorry,
To
I'm
that
just
jury.
amused by it. What were you gonna say, Ada?
Yes, H one. The family's probably already working on a lawsuit. The sad thing is I want to know what the wife's plans are now, because if the victims file a lawsuit, it could hurt her as well.
Mhm.
Love
And
it.
if he truly loves his family and his wife, then he won't drag them down with him, right? So hopefully we will see him be a bigger man. But I guess we'll see how he fares or how he stands up.
Yeah, hold on, baby. I'm on live, but I'll look. My daughter needs me to do a weather check. She was trying to come home, but we've got a lot of pop-up rain coming. Let's see. Let me see where you are, baby. Okay, it's gonna hit San Angelo, but between where you are now and home, it's just little pockets, nothing major.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah.
green and yellow.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Very pretty. She is a very beautiful woman. The mistress looked like a younger version of her. And then I was like,
Sorry,
dude.
guys. My daughter's coming home. We've got a lot of storms coming through, and I'm a storm chaser, so I can read all that stuff. And she's been sitting there for a while because we've got some hills and it's some very strong crosswind, and she doesn't have a heavy car like I do. Okay, so with this the whole situation, I want to know what his wife is going to do. I would not be surprised to see a divorce coming down the pikes. Even if she still loves him, it's out of self-preservation for her and the children. Because when you have victims suing, the house may not be gotten, but there's a lot of other stuff that can be, including any income into the marriage, because what's hers is his and what's his is hers, especially if they're in a 50-50 state. So as long as she's married, they can take up to 50% of her income to pay his penalties, his lawsuit. They can sanction the bank account. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but that's what was going to happen to us in my situation with my ex. So I had to divorce to survive. Even if I believed he was guilty or innocent, it did not matter. I had 2 young kids. So that's something that I'm going to be interesting to see what happens. Okay, let's continue.
Then they vested so much time and did their civil duty. What's your message to the jury?
Yeah, I appreciate that they felt they did their duty, but they got it wrong. And but again, beyond that, there's not much else I can say. I'm focused on trying to prove my innocence and trying to get home.
Did you kill Jeff Gehrman?
I did not, sir. No.
Yeah, and again, your message to his family.
And I'm very sorry for their loss. We've all been through a lot with this situation. And I'm hoping that, that they too can, when they move on, and it's a horrible, horrible situation all around. We're all suffering for it.
Why did your team decide to go with the narrative versus you being asked questions on the stand, it appeared to me that the jury was never given an explanation for that. And that's what juries expect. They expect the defense team to ask questions. Why did you choose narrative?
Well, I chose a narrative style just because, again, I had so much to say that it would have been so difficult for us to get through it all if we were doing it in a question and answer form. Just like in any, and again, I'm not testifying as an expert witness, but oftentimes when an expert witness testifies, they're given a question and they'll elaborate quite a bit on that one particular question. I had so many particular questions that I wanted to answer that for us to do it in a question and answer form would have just been so tedious. I think we would have lost the jury well before we got halfway through my testimony. So that's why it was a narrative.
Is there anything that you wish you had said that you think could have changed your trial?
I think if perhaps I thought we made it clear that I was home when that SUV drove into my neighborhood. If it was not, maybe I wish I would have hammered on that more to just say, hey, look, I cannot be in two places at once. So you got to consider that. I was at home. So I think that would have been pretty definitive as far as, evidence goes that I'm innocent. But beyond that, I think we did what we could.
Prosecutors say that you were not home, that your cell phone was home, and that's the reason why your wife was wondering where you were.
If you recall, again, their own expert testified that at 8:50 a.m. I was using my phone, texting, and at 9, so at home at 8:50, texting, and then this SUV comes into my neighborhood at 9:10. So even their evidence shows the same. Like I said, that's what I needed to hammer on more, I think, and perhaps that got lost in all the shuffle of all this evidence, I think.
Is there any other evidence that you had hoped that the jury would see that you think could have changed the outcome?
I think a bit more of the evidence regarding motivations behind Detective Jappy's actions would have perhaps demonstrated that Detective Jappy was not just doing his job.
Okay, that was it. The feed cut off because the time was limited from the jail. So that was it. The interview with Matt Johnson and Robert Tellis. He sticking to his story, saying that he didn't do it, saying the jury got it wrong, and that he plans to appeal down the line, acknowledging it's going to take several years to even maybe get some real ammunition for an eventual appeal. But Matt asked him, are you sure you want to do this? Because parole is based a lot on the conduct of the individual, and part of that is accepting and also basically admitting it and saying you're sorry on different levels through actions and words. He is a long way from that, but he's also a long way from his first parole hearing. Michael Jeffers watching, National Trial Attorney, Big Case Mike, on a Friday before the holiday weekend.
Okay, I don't want to do their commentary, but I'm like, I should do this like RA. La 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 la. Okay, happy birthday.
It was funny because Denny Dunn wrote, I just want him to go away. And then it said, the time cut off. And I'm like, got your wish. Ta-da!
Yeah, but here's the other interview, which is going to be a little different, I'm sure, because, well, different person doing the interviewing. So we'll see what he says here. But maybe I should go, oh, no, I won't go to the opera on you. It'd kill you. No, not that my voice isn't good enough. It just gets...
No, it's just with the earphone, like the headphones on, it would be, yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'd have to back up because, yeah, I could almost mute it and you'd hear it.
For the microphone, yeah.
Oh, let's see what the little snippet...
Police said that any other judge would have acted the same way Judge Levitt did. Do you believe that's true?
No, if you look at, again, the case, State v. Mills, that was, again, cited in Judge Levitt's own affidavit, there's a clear discussion about the fact that the types of comments that Judge Levitt had engaged in were inappropriate. And the fact that Judge Weiss just kind of waved away the fact that she lied was also a bit shocking. You know, she lied about the fact that I could not, she said basically I could not terminate self-representation. When is it okay to lie to somebody in court? It's okay, as far as Judge Weiss is concerned, it's okay to lie to somebody in court if it's for their own good. And I don't think that anywhere in case law or in statute it says that that's the case.
So last time you told me that you do plan to get counsel eventually. What's the latest status on that?
So tomorrow I'm going to be filing a motion that actually lays out all the facts regarding what I've told you about the police misconduct. From the very beginning to the very end, there was misconduct. There's perjury, using illegal methods of surveillance, illegally holding me at a police station while they supposedly searched my house. And I say supposedly because when I can...
They are permitted to detain you if there is reasonable cause to do so. And just because you have had Squire after your name, doesn't mean you get any better treatment. You should get worse, in my humble opinion.
Not personally watched that they're searching. I don't know when that supposed evidence that they've got, if it was there before or if it got there when they started their search, because they decided to legally hold me at a police station. But again, throughout all the search warrants, through the declaration of arrest report, there are lies all throughout it. And tomorrow I'm going to file a pleading that's going to illustrate all those lies. And this pleading is going to be in support of getting the evidence that I've requested, but that Metro is trying to deny me. So tomorrow everyone can see all the bad acts that were, that were created by Metro during the course of this investigation.
I know you filed 22 subpoenas, right?
20 subpoenas, correct.
How would that be different from the...
This is not the same one I wanted. Sorry. I know she went back. I apologize. Sometimes that happens. Okay, there's that one we just watched. She did go back. Where is it? Well, it's not here now. Where's the other interview y'all found? Because right now I'm not finding it. Find it. Nabbit. Well, that's
If
okay.
anybody has a link, please drop it in the chat. I'm not super helpful in finding it because I'm Canadian. That doesn't...
You're not going to find it.
Yeah. Those two things don't necessarily combine, but they do combine to be something. Anyway, thanks, guys. Yeah, Batman will talk to anyone just like Jodi Arias. And so it's funny because we were talking about Jodi Arias and how she's got same level of nutty as Sarah Boone. And then I guess her social or her media frenzy is like the same level of frenzy that Teus or Tellus has. So Jodi Arias is coming up a lot this week.
What in the world are y'all doing in here? Out. Go. The cat and the dog. I don't know where it is, but you know what? Well, I'm sure they'll pop up. But I didn't see the CBS one. I can't find it. Can't find it, but it's okay, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all.
Quite something. That man cannot keep his mouth shut.
Do you know what? They're not necessarily harder, and that's the problem. And I personally believe that they should be. Okay, let me go into. I gotta go pull it up. I believe the system should be harder on those who are upholding the law. I don't believe that they should get any kind of any kind of better treatment or anything. I think they should be held a little bit more. Yes, I'll accept your cookies. I don't want to. Okay, it's downloading, and there's an advertisement, so I'm gonna wait till that's done, and then okay, here we go. Oh my god. I gotta be honest, I don't like looking at him.
I don't like listening to him. He gives me hungry.
He's creepy. Creepy, creepy, creepy.
Yeah, see, that face is not.
Huh?
That face is not one to look at.
Only a face of mother.
You claimed you were innocent. Now that the jury has returned a guilty verdict, I'll ask you again. Did you kill Jeff Gehrman?
No, I did not.
Despite the guilty verdict?
He is not going to admit it.
What do you think of the guilty verdict?
It is what it is. I think there was evidence to prove that I didn't do it. I think one of the biggest things was the fact that,
Just
I was
shrugs
home at
and
9:10
says,
when this car pulled into my neighborhood and then pulled directly out. I think that was the biggest indicator that it couldn't have been me. But, again, with the other alleged evidence, which, again, as I said before, I had nothing to do with.
Funny.
That was all planted. I think but for that, they would have returned an innocent verdict or a not guilty verdict. But I'm here now, and I've got to get working on my appeals.
Of the GoPro.
Do you think taking the stand was a mistake?
I don't. I think, in fact, that if I hadn't taken the stand, then a lot of the truth wouldn't have come out. The whole story didn't get out, but some did. And I think that a lot of the things that I shared on the stand, I shouldn't say I think, I did have documentary evidence for everything that I said. Again, I think I did my best, and I think the fact that, I don't know, I guess it's a tough situation, because I try to prove the truth of the matter, but, here I am.
Judge Michelle Levitt will still have to sentence you for both of these enhancements. You know that typically a judge wants to see remorse. A judge wants to see someone accept responsibility.
Yeah.
You're not doing either of those things. Do you think that will hurt you in October?
I mean, again, unfortunately, if she decides to hold it against me that I'm innocent, then so be it. Then maybe I don't know. I certainly cannot accept guilt for something I didn't do just to avoid more time.
How concerned are you that you will die in prison?
Honestly, I've got appeals, and I feel very hopeful about the appeals. There's a lot of, there are a lot of issues to address that I think may bring me home earlier than that. But again, time will tell.
Do you think your defense attorneys did a good job?
To say whether they did a good job or not, I mean, again, anything could have happened. So I couldn't say how good a job versus how bad a job they did. I know they certainly tried.
What did you think of
that was an answer.
Chris Hamner questioning you on the stand?
Frankly, I thought that he was not really, I guess, well, maybe it's not his job to be fair or to be kind, but certainly he got extremely aggressive and
living in the River Nile.
I frankly think he turned a lot of people off, but certainly certainly that made no difference with the verdict, despite his demeanor. But yeah, so I certainly wasn't, I can't say that I was a fan of the way that he acted during the trial.
When you took the stand, there was a time where you wiped your eyes. Quite frankly, I didn't see any tears. But when I believe I saw emotion was when your mother and your wife and your ex-wife took the stand and talked about your children. Can you address that?
Actually, when they showed the photos, and again, I didn't do it as a performance. When they showed pictures of my home thrashed and my wife
All about the
sitting
home.
on the floor,
Thrashed.
It
Thrashed.
did break me up, and I did cry. But it wasn't.
Dude, you didn't cry over the fact that your wife and children are pretty much husband and fatherless, and that you're going to live behind there and they're going to live in the real world and move on without your sorry little ass. That's what you should have been crying over.
And crying about his things.
Kids, and how when those kids go to school, especially the ones that are younger in school, they're going to be called the murderer's son, the murderer's daughter, and all this other stuff. But you don't seem to care about them. All you care about is your freaking home being tossed. Oh, get your freaking priorities right, you dumb shit.
It wasn't for performance sake at all. I didn't expect. All I expected to do was to just demonstrate what had happened to my home and to explain why I made that ultimate decision to try to take my life. It was, because of everything that had been done to me during the detention, and then after they pretty much beat me up during the detention emotionally, I walk into my home and it's a train wreck. The police just threw all of my family's things everywhere. You saw my daughter's rooms were destroyed, and so when I got upstairs and saw my wife sitting on the floor crying, it broke me. And on the stand, I cried, and it wasn't for the benefit of the audience. It just happened. I never meant to cry during that. I just wanted to show the jury what they had done to my.
Who gives a living
life
about what they did to your home? There's a dead man, and your wife is sitting there bawling, and you decide to open up your wrist because of your home? Dude, you are a sick and you need to stay in jail. Honey boo boo, divorce him. He don't care about you. He don't care about the kids. All he cares about is his precious house. My precious house. Yeah, I'm going on.
My family,
Clearly, you were emotional when your mom took the stand. She said, "I love you, son," a couple of times. Your wife, your ex-wife. What do you want to say about that? Because I did see you emotional as they spoke, especially about your children.
Well, it's just, my family's my life. And that was, it was certainly to see them and to feel their, for them to show, the truth of who I am was a very emotional time. Because,
did he say that?
It did show truthfully who he was.
Show the truth of who I
am. I'm knocking crap over now. I'm sorry. Shoot.
Here is what you're going to hear multiple times a day for the rest of your life.
Doors closing.
Oh, it didn't play. Dagnabbit. All right, let me play it.
Unfortunately, since the start of this, people have gotten wrong who I am. I am someone who cares about people, who is always trying to do good things for the community and for individuals. And I love my kids and I love my family so much. So, just seeing, seeing their faces for the first time in almost 2 years in person instead of, behind the screen. That alone was very emotional for me to be able to breathe the same air as them. And so, yeah, once they opened their mouths, it was very touching to me. It meant a lot to me. So.
And they talked about, I mean, your mom said you were a loving son and you had a lot of responsibility as a kid. Both of your wives said you're an excellent dad. Here you are, convicted of murder. Many people believe you're a killer, and those are two different people, a loving dad and then a killer. That's interesting.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm innocent. You cannot be the man that I am and this killer too. And again, I think people for some reason thought I was mentally ill or what have you, just based on all this media attention. But you can clearly see I'm not. There was there have been evaluations done to show that I'm not. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not. I'm none of these things that this typical killer would have, these traits.
It has been suggested that possibly you're a narcissist and you've convinced yourself that you didn't commit this murder, even though you did.
You're such a sweetheart.
Well, that is absolutely not the truth. I didn't commit the murder.
Digesting.
So, again, people can speculate all they want.
Channel.
But as you heard, I think for you to be a narcissist, you have to not care about anybody else. You have to care only about yourself. I care about, I've always cared about the world at large. I've cared about my family. I care about.
What did he?
It's Jedi Jest Day on the A to K channel.
What?
It's Jedi Jest Day on the A to K channel.
Holy crap! Have we? Thank you. Oh my God!
What a wonderful,
Amazing.
wonderful
Thank you.
to commemorate this occasion of making fun of a narcissist. And also, Jedi Just, we just love anytime you're here. And we would really love to get you on a panel one day. Will you come on a panel one day?
You have got to. You've got to.
So just consider that, please. And
Open up my chat for real quick because that way I can see better who's doing what. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And these people are going to be able to join us on the members only live Saturday when I get to play Being Boozled. And I think I'm going to do it in the way of Truth or Dare.
Ooh.
So everybody
That
who's
sounds
playing
intriguing.
Dare. And y'all ask the questions. Nothing, well, intimate questions are going to be banned, but everything else is going to be open.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thank you so much. How do I know who got them?
It will say on I will let you know, but it says in the chat just above if you have the other, like the actual YouTube chat open, but I'll give you the names of the people who.
Yeah, I do, but go ahead and do that. Okay. Dude, you are about as narcissistic as they come. Killed that gnat just because it came. Oh, I could have given that to the spider. My spider's doing great. You cannot sit there. Even a narcissist go, oh, I love them. I love them. I love them. But it's your behavior, not just what you say. It's what you do.
Others, to say that I'm a narcissist, I mean, again, that's just speculation on the part of people who who want to believe that I committed this crime.
And again, they said you're a family man. You're saying you're a family man. You did have the affair, and you did lie about it for a couple of years. Are you a liar? That suggests you're a liar.
Yes.
And again, you can certainly you can say what you want. I was trying to protect my family, and that is what it is.
You're right, T. Morales.
You mentioned that not everything came out, that perhaps there were other things you wanted to mention. Could you maybe just share one of those things that you felt was important?
I think the truth behind Detective Jappy's motivations and how it all started, and the way that he lied about the initiation of his investigation, never got out. And, again, that was an investigation that started before Mr. Gurman's death. And so this confluence of all these supposedly strange things that happen to have no bearing as far as people are concerned on the case, it's not coincidence. It's a crazy, crazy story. But again, I've got backup to show all of this.
But as prosecutor Chris Hamner pointed out, a lot of people would have to be part of your conspiracy. The DNA lab, it doesn't make sense.
Not necessarily, no. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot of people.
The man's
Certainly,
exhausted.
Again, like I said before, not every single officer needed to be in on the idea of trying to frame me for the sake of, allowing a criminal enterprise to continue, but only for the sake of trying to help, again, another officer build his case. I've seen numerous cases where this has occurred, including even where DNA evidence has been planted here in Clark County.
How do you explain the DNA? Okay. How do you explain Jeff Gehrman's? How do you explain your DNA under Jeff Gehrman's fingernails?
I don't know. Again, whether it was under his nails or not, I do know again that we've
All right,
heard
let's just
testimony
forget
that
it. That
the
didn't happen.
officers didn't see any scratches on me. I didn't have any scratches on me. I was not at that location ever. So how this evidence may have gotten under his nails or not, I don't know.
What about the photos of Jeff's home and neighborhood?
Again, I did not take those.
The searches.
Again, the one set of search that I talked about, trying to promote my website to combat, again, the allegations, that's true. But those other searches, untrue.
The cut-up shoe.
Again, it makes no sense. No, I don't know. Again, everything that they claim to have found in my home is planted.
What is your biggest regret?
Oh, I know. I'm still alive.
I don't know. I don't know that I could say that I would have done anything differently. I was trying to do my best to make sure to, do work for the community. So I can't say that I want to take that back. I do know that if Detective Jappy had done his job, I believe that Mr. Gurman would be alive today. But again, at this point, I can't do any further investigation until I get out of here. If I can even get out of here in time to do any investigating. Once time goes on, things disappear. So I don't know.
What would you say? What would you say to individuals who are concerned about their safety if you ever are released from prison?
Thank you.
Again, there's. I don't believe any.
Oh, you finally hit the nail on the head of who it looks like.
These folks who prior made these allegations know that they're false about my demeanor.
These Elmer Fudd.
I'm not an angry person. I don't.
Just without the rascally rabbit.
And I think that that's even demonstrated when I was on the stand. That as much as I think that Mr. Hamner wanted to rile me and make me explode, that's just not the kind of person I am. I don't get angry at people. So this notion that I'm going to be on a hunt for people, that's just That's crazy.
Katie Mouse,
That's
you
just so
got a
crazy.
membership. Woohoo!
Why did you want to talk to us today?
Thank you, Morales.
I guess really just to, again, answer questions, and I'm sure that people were curious to whether or not I maintain my innocence. But yes, I do maintain my innocence. I did not kill Mr. German.
What would you say? So you're essentially saying 12 jurors are wrong. What would you say to the jury?
Just that, I understand this is what you thought was right, but you were wrong. I'll have to live with that decision for some time. Again, I'm hopeful I don't have to live with it for too long. I believe that there's a chance that I'll get
Depends
out
on
on
if he
appeal
has a good or bad
after
day.
this.
Your mother said that she accepts the verdict. Does that mean she believes her son is a killer?
No, I don't believe so at all. I believe she accepts that they've decided that they're sending me away. My mother has always believed in my innocence. My mother has, we talk, like as she said, numerous times a week. No, and I've told her I'm innocent. And my mother believes me. She knows I don't, I wouldn't lie about this.
Obviously, I've been missing out
How
on
concerned
lots
are
of
you
great
about
people.
prison? It's no secret
Elmer
that the prisons
Fudd.
here
That's
are
great.
quite a mess.
So I guess my hope is to, maybe go to Lovelock for now. I understand it's a protective custody prison. Because I am concerned that, if for some reason I'm released into general population, that an accident may happen and I may not, I may not make it. So I'm certainly concerned about that. But I'm also concerned about being put in, a protective custody situation in one of the other prisons where I'm not allowed out of my cell, and I'm not allowed to work. I'm not allowed to, again, keep myself busy. And then I've just got to sit there and stare at the walls for years.
Since the verdict, have you been on suicide watch?
So immediately after the verdict, I informed the administration that I was ready to get to work on my appeal.
Okay.
That I felt fine. The psychiatrist came and saw me. I explained the same to her. I'm good. I'm just ready to get to work on my appeal. And despite that, they decided to throw me into 2C, where they strip you down naked. They put you in a cold, windowless room where the lights are on 24 hours a day. They give you a cargo blanket for a blanket, and you've got no entertainment, no books, no nothing.
So it wasn't.
And so it wasn't because there was any credible concern that I could see.
Okay.
The psychiatrist saw no credible concern. They just threw me in there anyway.
Okay. I have a minute left with you. There's two questions I want to cover really quick. We're going to get cut off, so I apologize for cutting you off. But where's the murder weapon?
I don't know.
She went there.
I have no idea.
Sure, dude.
Again, I did not kill Mr. German, so asking me where the weapon is, I have no idea.
Were you there as Jeff Gearman said his last words?
I did not kill Mr. German. I've never been to his home. I was not there, no.
Okay. Thank you for talking with us. It's going to cut us off anyway, but I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Well, that was certainly worth watching. Holy shoot. Oh, look at him. He just looks shell-shocked. He's just like, what did I just do?
Do we have another one?
I'm not sure. I think I almost inhaled a bit the wrong way.
We have
3
another.
Vegas. Oh yeah, Future was saying 3 Vegas. It was that's a local channel.
Okay,
Jedi
guys.
Justice Discord. Thank you guys. That was so deer in the headlights. That was insanely amazing.
While I have it on my mind, let me throw this out, you sneaky. We're going to do a Tracy-thon eventually to help raise money for Tracy because she's a good follower. She's my sister. She's been in chat. She's struggling with terminal cancer. And so if it's okay with y'all, when we play, I'm going to have a place where you can make a donation. And any super chats will go to her tomorrow night. I think that that's only fair for a while. I don't normally get super chats, but for now, any super chats I get will be going into a fund for her. They do have insurance, but it only covers 80%, so 20%. And right now, I'm pretty sure they're sitting at a quarter, if not a $500,000 in debt or more. And as far as bills, and so 20% of that is huge. And her husband's the only one working. She's not able to work. So I got to come up with something. So maybe you can help me think of something that they can throw money at, and I'll do. And I don't mean it, I'm not expecting everybody to throw money, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think that's okay? Think that's a
Yep.
good idea? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never done this before. So if it's inappropriate, don't hesitate to say, girl.
No, I think we can try that because I've never done anything like that before either. And we can get feedback from people and see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah. She has triple negative breast cancer that is metastasized to the base of the brain, in her spine, in her thigh, in her lung, in her lymph nodes and blood, and
Mm-hmm.
a huge mass between the heart and the sternum. So, yeah, she looks great, but she's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I have Danny Downs, but I haven't on here, but I think when we don't have anything to do, we will be.
To do this interview with us today.
Well, again, I understand that
Let me know if I
a
need
lot
to
of
crank
questions,
this
I'm
up a
sure,
little.
still after the
I
trial.
can't. That's
So
the place
I
to
want to
go.
be sure to answer those questions. I think especially a lot of
Can you
folks
hear
are
it?
wondering,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if I'm innocent or, you know, if I still maintain my innocence. And yes, I am innocent, despite the
Yep.
verdict.
You gotta flip the
So we understood yesterday they were holding you in a special suicide cell. Is this true?
Oh.
It's true, but it was not out of any concern that I could see. So directly after the verdict came, and I had prepared my family, we talked about it, and I said, you know, if I, you know, I believe I've proved my innocence to the jury, but if for some reason things don't go the way we hoped, don't worry. I've got, you know, I'm working on appeals, and I believe I'll be out in you know, maybe 4 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. So don't worry, we're going to be okay. And I conveyed that to the folks that were returning me to my cell. And despite that, they decided I needed to go into a suicide watch. The psychiatrist had come and seen me, and she said that, you know, she had no concern for me and any suicide risk or anything. Yet still they decided to throw me into that room. And it's a room where they strip you down naked. It's a cold room. It's windowless. The lights are on 24 hours a day. And they give you a cargo blanket, and there's no form of entertainment, nothing to do. You've got to just stare at the walls. I don't believe I did anything to justify putting me in that situation, but it is what it is. They did that for a day.
Are you
So as far as any concern about hurting myself, no, there is none. I'm ready to continue fighting and to, you know, continue telling my story and again.
Keep trying to convince yourself of that.
What are your feelings about Jeff Garriman? What's your opinion of Jeff Garriman?
You know, he didn't deserve to die. You know,
That's
I'm
a
not
new
necessarily a fan
question.
because, you know, you know, the articles, but, you know, that's it. You know, I don't know what else to say about it. You know, there's certainly not enough, you know, anger there to kill somebody.
How do you feel about Jeff Garriman's murder?
I think it's crazy. You know, again, it's blown my mind for the longest time. And I do think there are a lot of people who are upset about it. You know, I'm upset from the standpoint standpoint that it's been pinned on me, and here I am. I'm going to suffer. But I know that he had a lot of great contributions to the community, and we heard about that. So I'm sure there are really a lot of people who are
I'm going to pause this because, in my humble opinion, this is a man who has dissociated himself from the fact that he did this. And so at this point, he is talking in the tense that he is. He's totally dissociated from the whole thing. And a lot of times, people in his situation and my exes and others, if they tell the lie enough and they become to believe it more and more, they dissociate themselves from it, then to them, they're telling the truth. And someone said to me when somebody passed a lie detector test, but it was very clear they did it. They go, "Well, how do they pass it not once but twice?" And I said, "Because all you have to do is believe your own lie. When you believe your own lie, to you, you're not lying." And that is how I feel about this jerk. And yes, it is rehearsed, but he has convinced himself he did not do it. And in his mind, somebody else did it. And in his mind, he may have a multiple personality disorder. I don't know, but he has got psychological issues. I'm not into labeling people, but I will say you're a narcissist, dude. But no, he's speaking and being in this position emotionless and acting like he's more reporting on it because he believes his own lie.
who are upset and perhaps think that my conviction is some way to I don't know. I guess is good for his memory, but and again, it is what it is. Like I said, I didn't kill him, and it's unfortunate that he was killed.
Do you have any message for Jeff Garriman's family?
I am sorry for their loss. It sounds like he was a wonderful uncle and a great brother. And again, I like I said, the kind of person that I am, I can really appreciate the wonderful things that he did for his family.
So if you didn't murder Jeff Garriman, who did?
I can appreciate it.
I don't know. Again, I've said who I believe it is, and their motivations. These folks certainly have, if they weren't responsible, they certainly gained a pretty nice windfall from it all. After all my investigations got basically thrown to the wayside, I'm here and they continue on without criminal repercussions. So I believe that they are responsible, but I am not. I did not kill Mr. Garriman.
So when you took to the stand a week ago, you said you thought Compass Realty, somebody that you had tried to expose because of their practices, you think Compass Realty might be behind the murder of Jeff Garriman?
Yes. So again, yes.
What are the chances that you believe that realty group is going to sue him for slander? Because they have a strong case, because there is no evidence or just cause for him to do this to them. And they can sue him just as much as the victim's family.
And if you look at their activities when I testified, that it was escalating. It started with just trying to threaten with lawsuits. Then it came to approaching the county, and then it came to disparaging me in.
I don't know. They said it'd be a
then it came to the point where they decided to run their own candidate in in the race.
But their trial lawyer is not appellate, so he will have a
One
new
of their own
appellate.
real estate agents, a Compass Realty real estate agent, was running for the office as a nonpartisan candidate. And then they decided to back Rita Reed. 2 weeks before Mr. Gurman's first article, Rita Reed received a $10,000 donation between Adam Fenn, one of their realtors, and Compass Realty themselves. And of course, that's 2 weeks later that this article comes out. And then thereafter, these funds appear to go to the text messaging campaign that ultimately results in my loss. But despite that, I continued to fight Compass Realty. I went ahead and went to court. There was a video that the jury got to watch that showed that, again, I was not lying down. I was not checked out. This wasn't the end as far as my term goes. So about, again, a few days before Mr. Gurman was murdered, I got an order entered that was going to give me the investigative powers to do what should have been done with these investigations. And again, I think this is just the next logical step. And at the end of the day, when we look at it, again, they're not going to suffer any criminal repercussions. They're not going to suffer any loss of their license or anything, because my credibility is shot.
Shot to hell.
People, go on, please. Sorry.
So it's your contention that a local realty company hired a hitman to murder Jeff Garriman and then plant evidence at your house, and you said you could even clear the district attorney Steve Wolfson in this conspiracy. Is that your contention?
No, I didn't say that he was involved in the conspiracy to murder. I mentioned the fact that when Detective Jappy had found criminal concerns that he conveyed to me, and this is again about a week or two after DA Wolfson introduced me to Detective Jappy, that a week after that, DA Wolfson received a donation from one of the Compass Realty real estate agents. And this is after, again, Detective Jappy had mentioned his own concerns about certain conduct. Basically, the thieving of personal property from inside the home and the vehicles of the decedents. That, again, a week later, Steve Wolfson received a donation, and
He talks more about Chappie than he does about his kids.
wrongdoing whatsoever. And if you watch the trial, you saw that I showed that, in one of these homes, we were able to prove that the carpeting, all the flooring was in the home, the kitchen was in the home before Compass Realty got a hold of it. But then, just before the sale to one of their partners, the flooring is ripped out, the kitchen is ripped out. If devaluing a home like that is not criminal conduct, then I can't believe, I can't imagine what is at this point. But
You're killing
someone. That were cheated by Compass Realty over and over again, whether or not they think that they just suffered from a loophole.
Excuse me, what?
What? What's wrong? Did I just freak you out?
Oh no, I'm just wondering how much BS he's gonna spout before I just lose my
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached code red. If you don't like blinky things, turn away. In 3, 2, 1. Didn't mean to hit it twice. This is so much. I'm so sorry about it, but I did warn you. I need to figure out another code red, but I kind of like that one.
That one's cool. I just it does weird things to my brain, so I just look this way.
That's okay. Andrea, what he's accusing him of doing is removing the flooring and not putting it back in to decrease the value of the home so he can make a bigger profit. Or so when they sell it, it's a tricky, sneaky thing. And if he's doing it, he should get in trouble. But dude, that's a misdemeanor. You freaking killed somebody. I don't want to hear this crap. But yet I do. Sweet and bitter.
Even if it's like really nice hardwood and it's stepped over 5,000, like, come on. Really? Let's just, okay, sorry.
There are crooked people who will do that. And some of this flooring is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Taking the dishwasher and everything out and making it less valuable. I get where he's coming from, but
I don't think he was any Robin Hood. I don't think he was saving anyone. Don't get me wrong.
I'm starting to see horns growing off of this man. Well, they've been there, but they're getting bigger. Why was because it would damage? No. Okay. They were in charge of estates that had no heirs, and they were supposed to sell the estate, i.e., the home, any possessions that were not claimed, and then that money was to pay off all debts to the estate. Okay. If you go into a home and you pull out the refrigerator and you pull out all this stuff, well, first of all, you can take it and sell it and make money on it. And you devalue the house. It's inappropriate. It wasn't replacing, making it look better. It was doing the opposite. Now, a lot of times they will hire people, like if there's a carpet that's really bad, they'll hire carpet people to come in. They will spend a certain percent of the value of the home in upgrading it to create much more equity in the home. The guy that he's talking about was actually devaluing the home and selling the product. I'm guessing, but this is how the scam works. Then they take the good hardwood floor, the $3,000 fridge with that camera system in it or the ice maker and all that out, and they sell it and make money. It devalues the home, and that's a no-no.
And even if those hardwood floors are like really old, it don't matter because there's somebody who had a house that was 70 years old, like my house, and it got torn down, but somebody took all of the hardwood out of it and it got sold for a lot of money because it matches all of the hardwood for every house that got built in 1957 and 58 in this neighborhood, right? So anybody else who's renovating in that neighborhood, it is so valuable, it would just knock your socks off.
Yeah, and it's repurposing it. And there's a lot of people who buy it. Like you may have a living room, but they have a bathroom they want to put it in. They'll buy so many pieces, and it is expensive for the real good old stuff.
It really is.
Oh, I work in a taste realm. If was mold or something wrong with the floor through removing it, raise the value, yes. Because, yes. But that's not what he's accusing them of doing. He's accusing them of taking the valuable part of the home out.
Stripping it, basically.
So
in sense, he's making more like kind of cuckoo claims because it's way harder to do that, but it still gets done. Like it's just
that's why when you're building a new home and you lay copper, you want to keep somebody there or put cameras up because people come in and steal it before the walls. If you're putting hardwood floor in there and that place isn't locked and secured, people will come in and steal the pallets of wood. I mean, it's horrible. Okay, let's get going.
They're going to agree that this is criminal conduct.
He did it.
I just want to make sure I understand your contention here. What you're alleging is that a local realty company hired a hitman to kill Jeff Garriman and plant evidence at your house. Is that what you're saying?
This is my
in essence, yeah.
Yes.
But you had 12 members of a jury who didn't believe you, who think you're a liar. So the jury is wrong?
So, again, you may recall, like during during that day, at 8:50, they made a big deal out of the fact that I'd sent a text message exchange between me and my daughter at 8:50 from my home. And if you watch and you see testimony, you hear that at 9:10, this SUV pulls into my neighborhood. I'm at home at the time. This SUV pulls into my neighborhood and then 2 minutes later pulls out of my neighborhood. So that was not my SUV. That was not me. I was at home when that killer pulled into my neighborhood.
I understand this, but the jury heard all the evidence. The jury heard all the evidence. They got it wrong. 12 people in our community, 12 people heard all of the evidence, including what you had to say, and said you're guilty.
They got it wrong. Yes, sir.
Okay, there's one bit of evidence. I think the most damning bit of evidence is your DNA was found under Jeff Garriman's fingernails. How?
Again, I don't know that it was ever there to begin with. And
are you saying that that was a setup? That they planted your DNA under Jeff Garriman's fingernails?
How it got planted, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you this. That oftentimes,
so the conspiracy goes all the way to these forensic people at Metro? That's how far the conspiracy goes?
So basically, again, I'm not talking about a single conspiracy here. As you may know, oftentimes police will, again, plug holes in a case.
His brother did speak on this. No, he didn't.
I've had a lot of time here. And
That's right.
I've researched and I've found cases where evidence is planted, even DNA evidence is planted here in Clark County.
Why would Metro detectives plant evidence against you? Why would they care about pinning the murder on you?
As I said before, Detective Jappy wanted to basically, he wanted to take me down. So, and the other folks just lined up because it was their duty.
So Compass Realty, Detective Jappy, all of these people are involved in this conspiracy against you.
Again, sir, like I said, you're creating one conspiracy out of all the different actions. And what I'm saying is, it doesn't take for all these people to knowingly be involved in Mr. Garvin's murder. It's just a couple of individuals taking advantage of the various working parts of the system. So, again, you can repeat it that way, but I'm not going to say that there was one mass conspiracy where all these people knew about the murder. No.
But wouldn't there have to be for?
I want to make that clear, especially to the audience, that despite what you're saying, that's not what I'm saying.
But wouldn't it have to be true that there was a mass conspiracy for them to plant all this evidence against you, for them to hire a hitman and try to pin it on you? It sounds like a vast conspiracy in your head.
No, sir. No, again, like I said, you're conflating the issues. There's the one component where it's basically Compass Realty and Detective Jappy. And like I said, oftentimes when one officer needs help just plugging holes in their case because they think that that's what they need to do, other officers will do what they have to. And like I said, I've seen numerous cases. I'm sure you've heard stories as well yourself. But so it is what it is, and folks can believe me. They cannot, but I'm innocent. Period.
So you've never really been in any major trouble in your life. What is life behind bars like for a person like you?
You lying sack of shit. Being arrested for DV after you choked your wife to the point that she was in fear of her life and had to call the police is not being violent or being in trouble. The only reason you weren't charged is because she dropped the charges. Typical battered wife syndrome. You are so full of shit.
It really started off as a nightmare.
I need a cow patty.
Especially when I told you about that.
Logo.
When you asked me about that
I'll be right back. I got a
question,
customer.
when I first got here, they decided to throw me in there for 8 days. I was cleared of, it was supposed to be a 72-hour hold, and before the 72 hours, they did clear me, but it was decided I'd still sit in here for another 5 days, or in that particular situation. But so it started off very rough. I guess that humans, we end up becoming accustomed to whatever comes our way sooner or later, and so I've I've become accustomed to it. I don't like it. I want to be with my family. I love my family, but I'm fighting, and I'm going to continue fighting. I'm going to, I believe I'm going to win my appeal, and I'm going to get home and get back to my family.
So you're 47 now. You're, according to the sentence, going to spend at least 20 years behind bars. That puts you at 67 before you'd be eligible for parole. What about the thought of spending the rest of your life behind bars? What's that like?
And again, life is short, and despite all this craziness that's occurred now, I mean, I think, and again, I did try to take my life at that one point because they broke in me, the police that day. But I am now of the mindset that I'm going to live life, try to tell my story, and try to fight to get back home. And so, whether with respect to how many years it takes, if I don't succeed, then so be it. I'll just try to make the best of life because, as far as I know, we've only got one.
So on the witness stand, you did admit to having an affair with one of your staffers, something that you denied for a long, long time. You lied about it. You admitted you lied about it. Doesn't that make you a liar?
I testified truthfully on the stand, and so you can decide what you want about that. And as I mentioned before, I felt it was a private. Well, I didn't say it was a private matter, but I think that should be implied when I say I wanted to protect our families. This is just when I lied. It was I just didn't want our families to go through more grief because it seems like that was the sensational, salacious part of this whole thing that people enjoyed hearing about. And I just don't know that it was. I don't think it was necessarily wrong to want to protect my family and the family of that person. But I mean, you all can decide what you want about it. But that was my motivation, and I don't think all people would begrudge me trying to protect our families from further misery from people repeating this over and over again.
The jury did hear you testify in your own words. You were able to tell your story for over an hour, and they didn't believe you. The jury thinks you're a liar.
They can think I'm a liar if they want. Certainly, that's their choice. And what am I going to do about it? It's, again, we just move forward.
Why did you have scores of? This is going to end in 2 minutes. Why did you have scores of pictures of Jeff Garriman's house on your devices? Why?
I did not.
They found them.
I did not. So they say, but I know I did not. Those things don't even make sense. As I testified.
So they're lying about that?
What?
Someone is, yes.
Someone is, yeah.
Those items just they don't make sense from any standpoint.
People want to know where the murder weapon is. Where's the murder weapon?
I have no idea because I did not kill Mr. Garman.
And then the red Denali. They see the red Denali,
seems to be a
maroon
popular
Denali in front of
question.
Jeff Garriman's house. They believe that's the vehicle that the murderer drove. And it just by happenstance, your family has a maroon Denali.
I don't think it's by happenstance that the killer had a similar maroon Denali at all. And again, during testimony by everybody, there was supposedly this camera that was right across the street that was pictured in Google Maps. If that were me and I saw there was a camera right across the street, again, I would not want to commit any kind of act.
They are working hard for that paycheck.
When I knew there was a camera directly across the street. So I think that, too, just speaks to the fact that I didn't do this. It'd just be crazy to do something like that. To put yourself on camera, to put your own vehicle in front of a camera would be just insane. It makes no sense.
Just one final question, Mr. Tellis.
Yes, sir.
I talked to a lot of people in the community, and I don't hear a lot of sympathy for you. In fact, a lot of people are happy that you were sentenced to life in prison. What do you have to say to those people?
Oh, I like him.
Former Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis has been found.
That is so funny. Click. I didn't even get to see it. It's true.
Oh,
Wow, what a day what a way to end the week.
was definitely worthwhile. I think that's the only Telus interviews that I have seen that have been worth the migraine.
Do you have a migraine, my love?
I don't know. He just seems to like bring one on every single time because like there's every time my eye starts twitching, that's like, yeah, there's like one eye that like the eyelid starts twitching and I'm like, oh no. Okay. Now I know there's something
when I'm
going
at a
on.
barbershop competition and somebody's too flat on a note or too high, I go, get it up there. Get it up there. Get it up there.
You're flat. But isn't being flat better than being sharp?
Huh?
Isn't being flat better than being sharp?
A little bit, yeah. But if it's flat, you're like, resolve it. If it's sharp, it's like, ooh.
Oh, I agree with this. He is an energy vampire. And he can suck energy from so far away. He is an enigma within himself. He is.
What am I checking Discord for, Ronnie?
What a guy.
Uh-oh.
He's the male version of Sarah Boone.
Yes, yeah. What am I looking for? We've got all these other little interviews. Okay.
He was Jedi just coming in with some spice today. He was the law student we all hated in class, I guarantee you.
Robert Tellis murder trial sits down only with the 8 News Now investigators the day after the verdict. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Sasha Loftus.
And I'm Brian Loftus. The trial for the former politician who killed investigative journalist Jeff Gehrman now over after 2.
The attorneys will share this. The attorneys. No, I don't want to share that. I don't want to share that. Not what I was trying to share. YouTube.
Well, oh God, I needed a good laugh. That was good.
Here we go.
2.5 weeks. Vanessa Murphy has this interview with Chief Deputy District Attorney Chris Hamner. You'll only see here on 8.
Prosecutor Chris Hamner sharing what it was like to take on Robert Tellis as he took the stand in his own defense.
Unequivocally, I'm innocent.
I think Mr. Tellis felt very strongly about probably telling his story exactly the way he wanted to tell it, and he got the opportunity to do that.
The way this testimony happened,
I didn't kill Mr. Gehrman.
A first for Hamner. Defense attorney Robert Draskovich asking the judge to do it by narrative, meaning he doesn't ask his client questions while Tellis shares a story and claims of being framed.
You believe that professional assassins want to draw attention to themselves when they're carrying out murder. That's
when they're framing someone, yes, sir.
His answers are, as I said, they were incredible and not in a good way. Like, it was bad. He would say things that just didn't make sense.
Hamner and prosecutor Pam Weckerly pointing to evidence like Tellis's DNA under Jeff Gehrman's fingernails, videos, photos. There were more than 400 exhibits in the case. Later in the trial, Hamner dropping a bombshell. This "Where are you?" text from Tellis's wife the day of the murder, which shook up his alibi. Hamner says it was a challenge to find it, though. It wasn't on Tellis's phone, while it was on his wife's Apple Watch.
We go and get the pictures, and sure enough, it's there. So that's kind of the genesis of it. But it really was out of a frustration of, I can't seem to find the "Where are you?" text that everyone seems to be talking about. It's just not in the phone.
Also unexpected, this photo. Draskovich suggesting this driver appears to have hair.
Look at the profile.
How much of a curveball was that photo from Draskovich in his closing statement?
Listen, he's a great attorney. And I think he did an amazing job with a really difficult client. I don't envy the position he was in. I thought he did a masterful job working with what he had to work with. So I give him credit for finding the exhibit. But, you know, when you look at it and you kind of zoom in, what starts to happen is like the pixelations kind of change. You look at all of it, it's not going to amount to reasonable doubt when you have all that the DNA evidence. I mean, it was overwhelming, the evidence in this case.
In the end, the jury agreed, returning the guilty verdict for murder after about 12 hours of deliberations.
What
Amen,
did they
Jedi.
say took so long?
I think it's just the process. You know, it's a collaborative process. You can't just steamroll your way through it. I think they understood the gravity of things. But I'm really relieved, and I'm really happy for the Gehrman family. They've gone through a lot.
In October, Judge Michelle Levitt is scheduled to decide the sentence for the enhancements for use of a deadly weapon and for Gehrman's age as a senior. They could both add an additional 1 to 20 years on top of the sentence of 20 to life. Reporting in downtown Las Vegas, Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
When you realize bloating and discomfort don't have to be routine.
Well, what a guy.
I think we are done with videos for the day. But oh my gosh, y'all. Oh,
Thank you for joining us, everyone, because that was worthwhile. We had some good giggles. We had some outrage. We had some very funny faces. No, I made some very funny faces.
who, me? Outrage?
Outrage? Outrage? Comedy?
Just a
Fun?
little.
We don't do that here.
We hit
No.
code red, which we normally don't do. I save code red for very special occasions. But his bullshit,
his shysterness is just next level.
I had just sat down in I have another office, and I have a 50-inch TV. I have a nice old, well, not old, but a nice comfy chair that you just melt into. I just put my feet up on the ottoman. I just got my blanket and I just snuggled down and I went click and I went, oh, gotta go live. I don't know for sure, but I think out of the people that I watch and that y'all know, like R.A., Mr. R.A., I beat you. I got it out first. This morning with Boone. Thank you, Jedi. I got it out. I mean, I was like, nope. Homework can wait. This has got to come out now. Because you know how hard it is? If you're the 10th person to put it out, nobody watches. Although thousands of people were watching other people later, but that's fine. I was just excited to get it out so quickly. It means I have a fabulous team of people. I have a fabulous, Ronnie is our fabulous research person. By the way, I think it's about time what happened? Y'all, I have so much stuff on my screen with, oh, here we go.
Yay.
We want to really thank our fabulous Ronnie, our research manager. Without her, we could not have the documents and the tools we need to share all this information with you. So if you are interested in being a research mod, please contact our research manager, Ronnie. And Ronnie, we love you. We appreciate you. And we really, really, really are blessed to have you on this team. Thank you for all you do.
You make everything better.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Wait, this came up on my feed, but I wrote it off because I assumed the interview was preconceived. Well done, people. Well, thank you. Shiraz, is that how you say it? I'm
I
really
think Shiraz, but
Shiraz?
yeah,
Siraj, thank you.
Shiraz, I think. Well, they'll tell us if we're getting it wrong.
Yeah. And Jedi Jess, you are part of that team. Thank you. Thank you. Denny Down, thank you for being here. Shiraz, you were awesome. Yeah, he's definitely special. So all of you who did not get the memberships or are not a member, please remember tomorrow night we are doing Truth or Dare, playing Being Boozled. We're going to talk about all this, and it will not be monetized, and it will be members only, so we can say whatever we want and not get in any trouble. And some of us bring special drinks, some of us don't. But if you're not a member, please go check it out. We'd love to have you. It starts at 99 cents. 99 cents, 199, 499, and 999. Every month at the 499 and 999, we have a members only live, but I do open it up sometimes to everybody, and that is this Saturday. No matter what level member you are, you will be able to be a part of this live. Did somebody say jelly bean? Yes. And if you are interested in playing the Bean Boozled game with us and get your jelly beans, if you have a camera on your computer, I will get you the link and you can play along with me. But it is a truth or dare. And those in the live chat who are members will be asking the questions. You will ask me questions, and if you're playing, I can ask you questions. And the moderator for the tomorrow, if she's well and up to it, will be Miss Sneaky. So, y'all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us. I want to thank Jedi Jess for the 5 added memberships. I want to thank Miss C. Morales for an added membership that have been gifted. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, you guys. You are awesome, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, like I said, unless there's more breaking news, I don't plan on being on today again. It's been 3 times I've said that. Tomorrow, depending on how I'm doing, I will maybe come on and talk about Birchmore, but we'll see. We may save
Okay.
Monday. Do we have trial Monday?
I'm not sure. We'll have to figure that out for tomorrow.
I'm too tired.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love you.
Oh, okay. I was about ready to put the wrong thing up. I was going to put this one up. How do you like that, guys? We redid it. Florida versus Donald Adelson, Grandmother Gotti murder trial.
Amazing, amazing name brought to you by Jabo Nation.
Yes.
Such a funny name.